The third way that mindfulness training undermines stress and suffering, transforms it, is the view we bring to what we're paying attention to. And I'll tell you a funny story that happened to my mother, actually, when my mother was about 82. She had a friend who was about the same age, whose husband had just died, and he was 84, I think. And she rang up my mother and said, "Why did this have to happen to us? Why did this have to happen to me? This is so unfair." And this guy, her husband, had been on transfusions for 2 years. So the view that this friend of my mother's had was really creating some suffering for her, some stress. You can see why. So this third step is really important. In mindfulness training, over and over, we're going to be exploring the kind of view we're bringing to the things that we're observing inside us and inside other people. And the philosophy which underpins in-depth mindfulness training could maybe humorously be described as life sucks and sings, everything changes, don't take it personally. And we can get into a lot of stress, a lot of suffering, when we kind of spend our lives railing against reality. And what the Buddhists reckon about what happens if you practice mindfulness over a bit of a longer period of time is you discover some insights into the nature of everything, the nature of our world and our lives, that we're part of the natural system. We belong to nature, and that pain, difficulty, unpleasantness cannot be avoided, that it's part of the nature of things. And if we try and avoid it, we make things worse. So this is radical. This is life sucks and sings. And can I have a life where I accept the nature of things, that automatically in my nervous system, in my life, in my emotions and thoughts, I'm going to feel pleasant experiences and then I'm going to feel unpleasant experiences, and that this is natural. There's nothing wrong with you when you're having unpleasant experiences, and it's wildly out of touch with reality to expect things to always be pleasant and under our control. The second basic insight we start to develop when we cultivate a mindfulness practice is that everything is changing. Everything's impermanent. Our feet, our mind, our precious relationships, our work, this tree behind me, this home, all of it is impermanent. They're all passing through. They're all processes, not things. And that includes me, my children, if I have them, my parents, my relationships. All of it is a process. It's not a thing, not made up of things. So that is radical too. If we really get to understand that things are impermanent, we can really let go of a lot of struggle in our life, trying to be perfect, for one, but also trying to have things just how we want them and to feel a certain way all the time. Releasing some of those attempts to control things that are out of control is so refreshing and helpful and spacious. The third insight is that this self, this person that I am, that you are, is not what it seems. This third insight undermines this sense that we ourselves are a stable, ongoing concern. That our very sense of me, mine, I, is constructed by certain causes and conditions. And I'm really aware of this. If I'm getting enough feedback from other people around me that I'm a okay person, they want to spend time with me, I feel great. If I'm in a strange country where I don't speak the language and I feel kind of lost and a bit alone and I'm not getting that feedback that I belong, I'm part of things, I can start feeling terrible. Low self-esteem, lack of confidence. This is kind of natural, right? Our circumstances are co-creating our experience of ourselves as a person, whether we're worthwhile or not, whether I'm good at something or not. So this very sense of self is being constructed by things that we can't control. And this is really important to know, because if we know that, we can also relax a little bit and take our place as a person who is in a context, in an environment that is contributing to how I feel moment by moment. Having a sense of these understandings, these insights, can help us in all sorts of ways. We can stop wasting so much time railing against reality when that's how things are. We can use that energy and time to actually make active changes about what we do want to have happen. It can really free up a lot of energy to make skillful, wise choices in how to take care of ourselves and others in a better way. And we're all going to need this in the face of the impending changes that are coming with climate change and the ecological collapse. We can also avoid all the mistakes we make by trying to avoid what's difficult in our lives. We spend so much time procrastinating, avoiding, not paying attention to how irritated I feel with that person, rather than processing those feelings and finding a skillful way of handling that situation. We can let go of the striving to be seen to be a certain way, perfect, good at everything. All sorts of things can be released. We no longer need to deny the dark sides of ourselves. We can really come to terms with the fact that we all share emotions of anger and contempt and avoidance, and we can really kind of join the human family without having to be perfect, without having to try so hard. And we can actually attend to these difficult dark sides of ourselves when they arise in our lives and in our relationships, rather than avoid them. We sort of build courage and experience that, this can be managed. The other thing that spontaneously kind of arises, I think, when we practice mindfulness over time is compassion for ourselves and others. Friendliness, warmth, kindness seems to spontaneously arise. We start to take in that we're all in the same boat. We're all subject to these conditions. We're all grappling with pleasant and unpleasant that we can't control. We're all grappling with this reality that everything's impermanent and loss is embedded in our lives. There's nothing we can do to avoid loss. And that we're constructed, our very experience of self is constructed by all these other things that we've got no control over. So when we really recognise this and recognise that every other human is in the same position, it can be very heart-opening. And also we can work courageously with our own impermanence, our own illnesses, our own old age, our own death. We can be less death-denying and embrace these things as a part of nature. And we belong to that nature. So I hope these little segments about how mindfulness can transform our stress, how mindfulness can transform our suffering, have been helpful in giving you some clarity about what you might kind of aspire to in undertaking some mindfulness training. What might be important for you in undertaking that training. Thank you.